Welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews, where one of your hosts doesn't know where the fuck he's at half the time, or what month or day it is. It's me. Dave, what do we got going on this week?
Not a lot, man. The things that I want to talk to you about, I can't talk about on camera because they're
Some good stuff.
yeah, it's funny. It's funny to me, but sad.
Okay.
But I will say this: I've been watching, and I've told you this before. I think I've mentioned it on the podcast before. Hunting Hitler.
Yes. Yeah,
I
you've
love
talked to me about
I love
that.
the series. I've watched it a couple. This is about the second or third time through that I've
Oh,
watched it.
damn.
And now they have another the final chapter or whatever that I bought because it's really good. And man, I tell you, if somebody hasn't gone out there and watched Hunting Hitler yet, I think you need to. I could be me, maybe it's just me, but it sure seems to explain a lot of shit that's going on in the world today
Yeah.
of crap that happened 70, 80 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's all because they didn't hunt the motherfuckers down and kill them.
Exactly.
Pardon the expression, folks, but I swear a lot. There's
We're on
something
episode
about hunting evil and
40
killing it.
something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they should have never let that many guys get away.
Oh no, they did. They all ran to South America. That's a proven fact. And I did watch a little bit about that documentary, and it's pretty wild. And
Yeah.
after some of the movies that we've seen, I fully expect his head to show up in a jar eventually.
No, it's like just looking at everybody.
With the great expressions, yes.
But now you know where all that came from. Like
Yes.
there was documents and crap floating around then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an amazing bit of history that's not talked about. It's just amazing what our history books actually leave out.
Oh my God, yes.
Your cat is over in the corner.
She likes to be clean. Are you done? Nope.
Oh God, that's funny. I'm sorry.
No, this is the first time she's joined us in full view here.
And today I was watching a bunch of footy games. The AFLW, the Women's League for Australian rules footy. Huge fan of footy in general.
Yeah.
I don't watch American sports. I don't like watching whiny douchebags that earn way too much money to play a game, complain about how bad everybody is.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But okay, that's me. That's me in a nutshell.
Oh man, yeah, not much going on here. As I told you earlier, I shot a commercial for a company that will air the commercial when it airs.
Right.
That's about all I can
when it
say.
does, then you can talk about it a little bit more,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. So that was cool. It was
That's
a
very
challenge for me as an actor because not only during COVID, I didn't have to go anywhere, which was good. I filmed it from my house, but
Really?
that put me in charge of audio, camera, lighting,
Ooh.
everything. Yeah, with the directors and producers all on Zoom watching me do everything.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was a challenge.
I bet.
It was a challenge. It's like I said earlier, it's like an 11-second spot, but we worked so hard to get everything down into that 11 seconds
Mhm.
with emotion or feeling and everything, whereas you're doing a movie or a short, you've got time to play
Right.
all of that. Here it
Right.
was, can you do it fast and make it work? Big challenge, a lot of fun. So that was a different experience. I think I told you a while back we kind of formed a little punk band that I was the lead singer of, which is pretty wild. Well, that has since fallen apart. And
Really?
I'm left bandless at the moment, but I'm working on some things. Yeah, it's a long story, flaky motherfuckers. So anyway, I'll write a song about it.
They are punkers, so.
Yeah. So anyway, so I've had that going on. Not much else other than I don't know if listeners know, I'm an avid video gamer, and if I'm not watching movies, I'm playing video games. And one of the latest things I picked up is called Bravely Default 2, and it's an old throwback to the old Final Fantasies from the 90s.
Oh, really?
Modern stuff. So it feels and plays like an old game with some quality of life improvements, and it's just just takes me right back. It's really really cool. So
Oh,
I highly recommend it to any fans of role playing games. To
what's the name of it again?
Bravely Default 2.
Bravely Default
Leave
2.
it to the Japanese to come up with weird names.
Right.
And speaking of Japanese, that brings us to a wonderful movie that I had been
Yeah.
putting off for a while that we watched last night, an anime from Hayao Miyazaki, The Wind Rises. I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
newer movie. We usually do stuff from the 80s
yeah,
up till about the 89, 90s sometimes. But we try to keep our movies like when I first created motion pictures till like 89,
yep,
just old movies. But after, after the last movie we reviewed, Scott really needed to cleanse his palate on something good. So we picked out, well,
yeah,
Scott picked out The Wind Rises.
yeah. I don't even remember what we watched. Oh, The Phantom from Space, I don't know what. See, I even forgot. I don't even know what's going on.
I think it was the Phantom. I think it was the Phantom from Space or the
Or the
Space
Space
Phantom or something
Phantom,
like that.
or
It was.
it was shit, is what it was. I crash landed on Earth and can't breathe, so I'm going to destroy my only breathing apparatus movie. Yes, that was the one.
That was it. That's the
That was
movie.
it. Yes.
Um,
No, this was the not true, but partially true historical fiction biopic of Jiro. I can't remember his last name. Lead designer for
can't say.
Mitsubishi on the Japanese Zero fighter plane. Um, it's an interesting story. One of the things that I did some research reading about this, is I did not know that Miyazaki's father ran an airplane company and sold parts that built the Zero.
Really?
So he has quite a tie to this
Yeah.
plane.
Yeah.
It's a neat story.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
I
I'd like to
wondered
read
how
more.
they were going to do this, because you look at, here is a plane that was created that, if you know any World War II history, it killed a lot of people on a surprise attack at Pearl Harbor. And so we're going to study the life and look at the guy who designed it. I think it was quite a challenge for Miyazaki to present something as sensitive as this,
Right.
or as touchy, in a way to show the human being behind Jiro. I can't remember his name, but I gotta get this out before I forget it. I loved his boss, the little short guy.
Poop the
Oh
hair.
my God, he was so funny.
That's a good character. He was a
Yeah,
really good
he
character in
was
that.
great. He was great.
Um,
Um, I did read that pretty much the second half of the movie is all fiction, with
yeah.
the connection of the daughter, or the daughter of the hotelier that he ended up marrying, and everything.
Uh-huh.
All of that was done to give us something, to give us a different arc for Jiro than
Oh,
just, hey,
okay.
I built a plane. And I really like this movie.
Yeah. I wanted. This makes me want to look this guy up and see what I can learn about him because he is such an historical figure, and they're always the guys behind the scenes that seem to be that resonate with me as far as history is concerned. Like
Yeah.
when you find out about people who were doing things like the guy who broke the code for the Enigma machine.
Hmm.
You read about him or you find out about him, and it's like that's a really interesting guy. It was about time somebody made a movie about him, and that's very good. Uh, I like things like that. Like we were talking about, the hunting Hitler, the stuff that
Yeah.
happened that nobody knows about because nobody talks about it. And then you go to like a place and you speak to someone that knew the person, and suddenly the entire history opens up.
Yeah.
So I'd like to read a little bit more about this cat and find out more about him, find out how much was true and how much was
Yeah.
fake.
It's neat to I got a lot more to read on it, but a very neat character, and what Miyazaki did,
Yeah.
as because this movie is an anti-war movie,
Hmm.
but it's not, as we like to say, it's not
Yeah.
swinging this with a hammer. But if you look, Miyazaki is a known pacifist, and Jiro was also upset with what had happened to his designs, even though, and that's what's neat about this movie. It's showing the morally gray areas of how far do you go for your art.
Right.
all he wanted to do was make planes. He thought they were beautiful,
And he wanted to make the best plane that he could.
and he did. And
Yeah, there's over at the Navy base here. They have a the air
yes,
museum. They have they have two planes that well, three planes actually that I go to constantly. The Zero, the first jet, which was the German made, and then the American South Pacific plane that my mind just totally went blank on, that the Baba Black Sheep guys used to
yeah.
fly. And of
I
course, I cannot remember the name of the goddamn plane, and everybody's going to yell at me. Uh, all 12 of you.
we're up to 12.
We're up to 12. We're up to 12 subscribers. Thank you, by the way.
All right.
Those are like my three planes that ever since I was a little kid, I looked at them and went, wow, that's amazing. And I remember walking into the museum and seeing the German plane. And
Yeah,
I just stood there and stared at it. I mean, I took a photograph. I took photographs of this thing from every angle, and I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing that they could reconstruct. And they had most of the original thing, like that frame and the actual body and everything.
yeah.
That's the actual. That's what they found. They took the engine out, of course, but they actually have the damn plane there, which I just and then they have the Zero that was captured. I forgot where they say that it was captured at, but it's intact. I
That's
mean,
amazing.
it's amazing, and it is a beautiful plane to look at.
Yeah, and I definitely, as soon
Like,
as restrictions lift and we can get back in the museum, I'm definitely gonna go take a look at the Zero after watching this movie.
mhm. Oh yeah,
Because
yeah,
there's so much, dude. I had no idea that they had to pay attention to so much stuff like the rivets being
yeah,
flat and just
yeah.
all the, dude. The math would have made my head explode.
That I would never be able to do that. God bless these guys who build bridges and buildings and
Exactly.
figure that stuff out. Because I think putting the bricks on one another and putting this welding the steel together is an art form of its own. But being able to design it and give it to the other guy and say, here, this is what I need, that's a completely different art form. I mean, it all blends so nicely together.
Yeah.
And the story is so well to it. I tell you, I probably didn't pay attention to the first 15 minutes of this movie
Hmm.
because I was looking at the art and how beautiful the art was.
I was gonna get to that.
The character
Yeah.
designs, the backgrounds. Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli always do these beautiful, beautiful backgrounds. And I will sit there and I'll stop a film and I'll look at it and I actually bought this to watch because I was going to
Hmm.
rent it initially and I was like, I'll just buy it
Yeah.
because, it's Miyazaki and I know I'm going to watch it 500 times.
Right.
It is not Kiki's Delivery Service. It is not My Neighbor Totoro. This is a way
This is a
more
serious
serious.
movie.
Yeah, this is more serious. And I did like his story arc. Now I'm kind of depressed to find out that it wasn't true about the wife, the
Yeah.
French. I'm thinking it was supposed to be a little French girl
Yeah.
that he winds up marrying
It
in
seemed
the
like it. Yeah.
story, because they're speaking French initially.
Yeah.
That what I liked about Miyazaki's character of Chiro
Jiro. Yeah.
was he spoke several languages.
Yes.
When the Germans come up to him and his friend and they're like,
Oh yeah.
he starts speaking to them in German, and the Germans all stand back like, "What the hell? This Japanese guy knows our language."
He does. And that was an interesting part because he made comments to his friend. I'm like drawing a blank on everybody's name now. I knew it last night, but his best friend there, he was talking to him,
Hmm.
and they were just talking about how poor Japan is and how much money
Yeah,
they're giving to
yeah,
Germany and pouring into that, but they're paying them a lot of money to make these planes. So they send
right,
them to Germany to learn the designs, and of course Germany's like, we're not going to let you in and see this because you're just going to copy it and steal it.
right, right.
So
And I liked his comment to the guy. He's like, "Well, then why the hell are we here? You
yeah,
know, either let us go in here or we're gonna leave. It's no
yeah,
big deal." And then I guess the designer spotted him and was like, let them in. This is what they're here for. Let them in and inspect stuff. So
yeah,
it was very interesting. I enjoyed that aspect of it. They stayed away, and this is Miyazaki's magic in storytelling. He concentrated on the character and the characters, not on the war.
yes,
War was very much background.
hmm,
The only time that you saw any destruction is in Chiro's um, mind, in his
In
dreams.
his dreams.
And he kept visiting that one Italian airplane designer, Caproni.
Yeah, Caproni.
Caproni, I think was the guy's
Yeah,
name. And that was very, very cool. That was like his guiding spirit through the
it
whole
was. It
thing.
was almost like a
I
guardian
really
angel to
enjoyed
help him.
that. And I was losing track of, okay, when is he dreaming?
Yeah.
Like, is this a dream or is this reality? Is this a dream? Is this reality? And it was really well put together. Well, I mean, it's Studio Ghibli, it's Miyazaki. You're not going to get a bad story. You may
No.
like some stories better than others, just that's human nature, but the art, the animation, the storytelling, the music, the English dub is always so well done in a
Hmm.
Miyazaki film. Probably some of the best dubbing you'll ever see in any anime.
Yeah.
Um, I would have liked to have listened to it in the original Japanese. Maybe I'll do that if I watch it again.
Yeah.
But because they're always very good on how they dub their movies. Um, but yeah, it's to keep World War II in the background of the characters and be that the building and the motivation that you never see,
Hmm.
but they keep referring to it, must have been a real trick. Must have been very difficult for the writers
Oh, because it would have been
and
so
for the
easy to just
and
jump right in there to it. It's right there.
exactly. And he has the love story between your main character and the girl that he meets on the train, where he
Hmm.
loses his hat and she catches it, and
Yeah.
she's been looking for him for almost 10 years at that point, and then forgot about him until she sees him again, and that's a great story. Now I'm really depressed that that was all made up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I had read, that whole thing was him staying at the resort and her
Hmm.
was made up. Now, I don't I will have to, you know, just full disclosure, I skimmed a lot of stuff, so I might be
Right.
reading wrong, but I did see a lot of this was just fabricated for the story to
But yeah,
give
I
more
could
life.
see that. I
Yeah.
could I could see where you would have to fabricate some of this stuff
Yeah.
because really, I don't know how you'd make designing an airplane exciting.
Exactly.
The math. I mean, he's literally pulled out his
Slide rule.
yeah, the slide rule, and he's using it. I'm like, you can only make that so exciting. And then I liked when he's doing this math, his mind takes over, and all of a sudden you're in his dream state
Hmm.
watching what he's trying to design. And
Yes.
then the things that go wrong in the design, and he's figuring it out through math. So he doesn't have to build a plane because he knows mathematically this isn't going to work.
Yep.
And just if
They
you
found a
haven't,
way to make it exciting.
yeah, and it works. I mean, any other, person would have just been like changing camera angles and showing the guy sweating or not Miyazaki. Miyazaki's like, how can we make this interesting?
Well, there is
I know.
yeah, there's a show on Netflix if you haven't seen it called The Queen's Gambit,
Hmm.
and
I've heard of it.
it's about chess, and
Hmm.
you would not think that a 10 episode series about chess would be exciting,
Right.
but it's exciting, and it's done the same type of way. You start to see through the mind of the person, and
Oh,
the way it's
nice.
done, and it's to take something like that and do
Hmm.
that. One of the things they did with Jiro is he always got mackerel, and he'd study that the fish bone,
Fishbone. Right.
and they'd all make fun of him, but that was all part of it. His brain
Right.
was always working toward designing an airplane.
I like he makes a comment about because he's looking at the bone and this and that. And he's like, and he says to his friends as they're all getting up and they're making fun of him, he says something to the effect of, the Americans eat mackerel. And puts it down, like puts down his thing, and he gets up to go with him. And it was just such a passing comment, like, and looking back at it, it's like we have a lot in common. We have more in common
Mm-hmm.
than not in common.
Yeah,
It was kind of how I take it now. And in passing, I just thought it was kind of like that's an odd statement,
yeah.
but I'm thinking that's probably how he meant it. Like, they eat fish too.
Hmm. Well,
It's
and that's just it. He didn't. Was it he was asked at one point about some bomber? What are they going to bomb? And he's like, Netherlands, England, America.
yeah,
They'll all blow up, and then we'll blow up.
right.
And
Well, the one German spy or the one guy that was
yes,
German was sitting there warning him, like, you want to get out of this. You want to get out of here now before all this blows up. He goes, because Germany's going to go down, Japan's going to go down.
yeah,
There's no good way for this to end.
And you notice after he showed up and they formed that relationship, and he hiked out of there, got out of the resort, the secret
Right.
police started looking for Jiro, and they had to
Right.
hide him.
Right. Exactly.
So
And I'd like to know if that was based on reality.
that may be that. I haven't gone far enough. I bet it
I want to
was.
say I could be wrong. I may be thinking of someone else, or maybe it's another movie. But I want to say the guy who created the Zero wound up leaving Japan. I could be
Hmm.
wrong. I may be wrong. Maybe, like I said, I may have got that mixed up with another story. But it's very this story. I don't know how much of it's real, how much of it's fake, but it was very telling of
Yes.
just it's a good character development story. Very, very good because it picks him up from being a little kid and how
Hmm.
he defends younger kids to as an adult, a young adult male trying to make his way in the world while everything's falling apart in his country.
Yeah. Which looked like it was obviously going through a depression at the time.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when I saw that, I thought, I wonder if this is what really pushed Japan into war, because nothing go get a country out of a depression faster than a war.
hmm
you know,
yeah, yeah.
so
There's a lot of background between America and Japan up to that point. Like
yeah,
America didn't help them much. I
no,
mean, when I say didn't help them much, I mean really put the screws to them
yeah,
around that time, which doesn't help things. It's like that's not how you make friends, man.
no,
Yeah, you know, especially in that area of the world, there was no
right.
reason to do it. But we were more allied with China at the time than, and that's the amazing thing. Like you see how the world turns, and
Yes.
it's like now Japan is one of our biggest allies over in that part of the world,
Hmm.
and China not so much.
No,
Just throwing that out there.
no,
And I got nothing against China at all. But their government is very much the way they've always been.
yeah,
They've always been a conquering country, and they have not changed.
no.
That's what they're out to do. And as long as you go into a deal with them knowing that, you'll probably be okay. If you don't, if you go into a deal with your eyes closed, Disney, you're gonna lose.
Exactly,
Just
exactly.
throwing that out there.
Yeah. One of the things on this movie, though, I liked at the end, he saw all the destroyed planes, and he's talking to the Italian plane designer in
Caproni.
his little dreamscape or whatever.
Right.
He's like, not a one came back. Um,
Oh,
and that's, but you could see there was a time had passed from the time he built it to
right.
then. And I did read that he was very much upset that his planes caused so much death and destruction.
Mm.
But on the flip side, dude, you knew Mitsubishi was going for the military contracts.
Right. Right.
Mitsubishi hired you.
And really, back at that point, you have to figure he was a patriot, for lack of a
Well,
better word. I mean,
sure.
that's what you did. You
Hmm.
thought your country was right. You're going to back your country. You're
Absolutely.
going to go and design the best fighter you can
And he
design.
did. He did.
If
It's
you're
amazing.
designing any weapon, you're in for your
Yeah.
country, and if you're like my country's right and yours is wrong, you want me to design a weapon, you want me to design something,
Hmm.
a proton pack, for lack of a better term. I'm going to design the best one I can to catch ghosts.
Don't
But
cross the streams.
whatever, yeah, don't cross the streams. But whatever it is, I mean, I don't think you can. Not in all cases. I don't think you can look back at all cases and go, you should have known better and you should be damned to hell
Well,
for
yeah,
this.
and I
And there are
really didn't
some
mean it.
cases where I think you should. Like if you're a guard at a concentration camp, if you're still alive, you should be lined up against the wall and executed.
I
That's my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I guess what I meant by the comment is he knew his plane would be used for war
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all of that. So that, I mean that's no that shouldn't have been a surprise.
Mhm.
Maybe how it was used was a surprise to him in the end. But I know he came out against the actual real person did come out against that. He felt bad about
Mhm.
um, all of that and was not happy with it. But
Right, right.
you
Well,
know,
I can
I get
understand that
exactly what you're
too.
saying. Yeah.
I can definitely understand that.
I would
Um,
imagine the people who built the atomic bomb probably didn't feel too good when it went off.
And again, like for that, you you have to look at these guys and go, you knew what you were building. There's no way in hell you, of all people, didn't know what you were building.
Exactly.
Now, from what I've heard is the description that Truman was given to drop the bomb, because he was kept out of the loop. From what I've read, he was kept out of the loop of the atomic tests and all that. He knew very little about the bombs. And when he asked, well, we're going to drop this bomb on Japan, or, we got these two cities, and he said, well, how big is it? How, I want to try and remember exactly what I remember hearing is he said something to the effect of, well, what kind of bomb is it? Or something like that. And they said, it's a really big bomb. They did not tell him this is an atomic bomb that's going to take out a fucking city. That's just a big bomb. Well, Truman's war record, he's seen big bombs before. Okay, we got to drop a big bomb. Go ahead.
Hmm.
And I have the distinct feeling, now I could be wrong, I'm speaking for a man who's dead that I've never read about, or I've read very little about,
Right.
and I don't know a lot about the guy. But I wonder if after they dropped that second bomb, because they did that second bomb really goddamn quick,
Hmm.
and I wonder if when he found out and saw the film footage for this thing, if he was like, what in the hell did you guys just do? You know what I mean? And if the next time one of you sons of bitches comes to me like this, I'm going to have you shot.
Yeah.
I wonder what would go through your head if you're the leader of the free world and they say, well, it's just a big bomb.
Yeah, it was
You
beyond a
drop
big
it, and
bomb.
then you see the destruction, and you're like, General, I'm going to take you out and have you shot right now
Yeah.
because you just made me look really bad in history. And he does. He looks absolutely horrible in history, as does everybody that had anything to do with that.
Absolutely.
Um, and I can't even imagine. Like, I don't even know if the bombers knew what they were carrying. I know that they were carrying, I know that they worked on the atomic test flights, and when the Enola Gay came in, they dropped it. But I don't think those guys even really knew what the hell they were carrying. I mean, you see this big thing that's as big as my room. Okay, it's a big bomb.
Yeah. 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 But that's one of the things that I think this movie does so well. You had mentioned that it keeps World War II in the background.
Hmm.
If you know the history, that's fine. You piece it in. You see what's happening. You see
Yeah,
Germany
yeah,
and Japan's relationship going on there, and how they're starting to work together. And that's not even the story. That is a small sub story going on just for
right.
flavor in the background. The main story is just Jiro and his love of creating a plane, and then his love for this woman that he rescued a long time ago. That earthquake scene, the animation during
Oh,
that was amazing.
that's one of the things when it happened. I was like, "What is this? A dream? Is he going to
I
see
thought
this
so.
big dragon come out, and the dragon's going to?" I mean, because it's Miyazaki. You have no idea what's going through this guy's head. And I
Exactly.
mean that as an absolute compliment, because if he would have had a dragon talking to this guy in a dream state, it would have all made
It
sense.
worked.
But yeah, the rolling ground, oh, that was absolutely fantastic,
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic.
And to think now, I uh I watched on HBO, which has all the Studio Ghibli films, and
Hmm.
they also have two documentaries that I'm going to watch
Oh,
on
nice.
Miyazaki and the studio. But that's they've ever done has been hand drawn, right?
Yeah, they started doing some of the computer generated stuff within the last two or three movies. I think they
Yeah, I
started
think the
doing.
latest movie is that I saw that's on there. It looks very CGI,
Mhm.
but that's what's amazing is watching this and knowing that this is all hand done.
Right.
And holy crap, I watch this movie like I watch a regular movie. When I'm
Oh
watching a
yeah,
live action movie, I'm
yeah,
what's going through my head is, my God, all those extras that had to cost a lot of money in costuming, and how did they
yeah.
organize
Right.
this and get these people to go here and go there while I'm keeping up with the story. Here I'm watching, it's like, oh my God, they drew every fucking frame.
You know what? When it really hits me is whenever they're rushing to each other on the or train platform. They
Yes.
show Chiro or Hero
Oh
coming to the girl, and the girl, and he's
yeah.
like bumping into people, and people are bumping out of his way. I mean, that train platform is just so packed with moving images, and he's bumping into him, and you can see the solid hit. I mean,
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's just
talent.
absolutely beautifully done. I know the backgrounds. I'm almost sure the backgrounds in this one were digital, most of
Mm.
them, if not all of them. But I think their animation, their character animation, I think was still 2D.
Yeah, it's impressive. Yeah,
But either way, I mean, even if they did it on computer, I'm even more impressed
yeah, because it
because
looks
it looked
genuine.
so 2D.
Yeah, and I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. That's one of the things is you get when you watch a Miyazaki film or a Studio Ghibli film, you get high production values.
Oh yeah,
You get great
yeah.
music. You get great actors. I'll be honest. I've never watched one with a Japanese track. But the English dubs have always been really
Uh-huh.
good.
Yeah, I've
Um,
always liked the English dubs.
so I'm sure the Japanese language ones are just as excellent,
Mm.
if not better. But I just never have been around to watch that. Uh, just what I knew I was going to get from Miyazaki is a film that makes me think. Um,
Right.
that gives you pause and it makes you think about something. And that's what this one was beautifully delivered. That it wasn't heavy handed. It
Hmm.
was just we watched a guy do what he wanted to do and what it cost.
Right.
And I'm not saying that he did anything wrong or anything right. It's just this movie's very gray, you
Yeah.
know, and that's what's
I fall
cool.
back on. I think if you're living in that time, you do what
Yeah,
you think is right at the time.
absolutely. However, now we can just talk about he found that girl and
Mhm.
fell in love, and you could even argue that he loved the planes more than her
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he
He
really
well,
stayed away for a long time.
he had to get those designs done, though. I
He
mean,
had to
it's
do it. So he was between a rock and a hard place. One of the things that his best friend said that just really cracked me up when I forget they were eating sponge cake and smoking cigarettes or whatever.
yeah.
He's like, whatever. He said, I'm going to Tokyo in the morning to get married. And like, get married?
Right.
Yeah. You can't work hard unless you have a family. And
Yeah. You can't work. Yeah. Basically, what I think he was saying was,
yeah,
"What's the use? You
yeah,
know, if
yeah.
you don't have somebody to share it with."
Yeah.
That's
Or
how I took it. How did you?
or you would be a better worker if you had a family at home that you had to provide for. Is the way
Yeah,
I
that
saw
would
it as
be.
well. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's
Okay.
interesting.
I could see that too. I could
Yeah.
absolutely see that.
So it's wow. Okay. But the dynamics, the relationships of everybody was really well done. And again, his boss was like my favorite character in the movie because he was a good character.
Yeah, he was he was needed. He was definitely needed. He was
Yes.
definitely the road bump at first,
Hmm.
and then you
But
find out he's actually kind of a nice guy. And he tries to talk him out of being married, which I thought was, and he does it for the right reason. He's not doing it to be a jerk.
mhm.
You know, he's like, she needs to be back in the hospital. You don't need to be doing this. Blah blah blah. You know, he's going on, and then everybody's like, no, this is what we want. The father knows. We need you
Yeah.
two to do this, and blah blah. And he's like, and the wife just looks at him. He's like, okay. That's
Yeah.
his argument. It's like, oh well, okay, I tried.
Yeah.
I said what I thought I needed to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and he hid him in his house away from the
Yeah,
secret police and everything, which
yeah,
was interesting. And he had also said, when Jiro asked him, he said, "Well, why are they coming for me?" He said, "I don't know. I have several friends that are gone, and they didn't know why they were taken either." So,
yeah.
and it's like that had to be a scary time.
Oh, I can't even imagine. I can't even freaking imagine.
Yeah.
Da, 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 the
He's
kitty's
back.
back.
Okay. Final thoughts on The Wind Rises, David.
Oh, it's beautifully done. It is absolutely it's. I don't want to use the term masterpiece, but if it isn't, it's really damn close. I mean, it's a beautiful story. It's beautifully told. It's beautifully illustrated and animated. Everything that you would want from a Miyazaki movie.
Mm,
But my warning only is this: it is not Kiki's Delivery Service. It
that's a
is
fair
not
warning.
a Totoro, my friend Totoro, or my neighbor Totoro.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's a little bit deeper. And even those movies give me, like you said, pause for thought. You think about
Yeah.
stuff
You
that's in
always
those
do.
movies. And that's the good thing about his stories. They're always moral lessons.
Hmm.
And this one's a little bit deeper than most. It's a little bit sad in places, sadder than most of his other movies in places. but it's well worth a watch. It's up there for me. I will watch any Miyazaki film over and over and over
Hmm.
again. So yeah, it is definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Definitely worth it.
Yeah, I'm going to go along with the same. It is definitely a must watch. I really enjoyed this. And that's one of the things I get anytime I watch Miyazaki. I know I'm
Mhm.
going to get a message, I'm going to get something that's going to make me
Yeah,
think. I know that going in. This one is subtle. This movie is very heavy drama wise. This is not a comedy. This is not an action movie. This
right,
is a slow burn from start to finish. It has a few spots that get a little exciting. The earthquake scene and some of the flying stuff is really cool, but overall, it's a slow burn. And I finished that movie and said, "Damn, it was a
right,
damn good movie," you
right,
know.
right.
And I like when I watch a movie that says like, "Wow, that was good. That was well done." And it's
When was the last time that we watched a movie that you walked away and went, "Wow, that was really, yeah,
Casablanca,
thank you."
episode 2.
Makes
We've
me
done
feel
40 plus episodes.
good.
We need to do this again.
We got 20 more bad movies to do, then a good movie.
No, it is a must watch. It is a must watch if you're a fan of good movies. I'm not even going to say if you're a fan of anime. I hate that.
Right.
You should be able to watch an animated feature like you would a normal feature. Some
Mhm.
people get their nose up in the air over that shit. Well, screw you. It's a movie's a movie's a movie.
Right.
So, it's not just for kids.
Exactly. A good movie is a good movie.
Exactly. Exactly. I can even watch some nice rated G movies that are damn good. And they're
Yeah.
cartoons, people.
I love cartoons. Man, I'm a big cartoon guy. I'm a huge cartoon buff. We should do
Absolutely.
all the Lord of the Rings cartoons. Where there's a whip, there's a way.
Yeah.
Where
Found it
there's a
at an antique store. Had to get it.
You gotta have it. That's the Hobbit. He
Yeah,
pulled out
that's
a VHS
VHS.
tape of the Hobbit. But
It's a classic.
Rankin Bass, right? They did all the Hobbit movies, right?
I
Or all
do believe so.
they did the made for TV ones. I know that.
Yeah, I have no
Marvelous.
idea. I haven't put it in yet.
We should watch those. We should do those. I don't
We
know if you
definitely
want to do them
should,
all.
but I like your idea for next week a
We can
lot.
put off the animated Hobbit stuff.
Let's hold on
We
that.
can do a
And
month of that. How's that? Watch
what's
one
that?
and the next. We can do like a month of that.
Yeah, we can. We can.
And then the fourth thing that we watch will be another Harryhausen, maybe?
Yeah, we'll do something. We'll watch one of the Hobbit ones
Just
or the
stick
Lord of the
with us,
Rings one.
folks. Stick
Do
with us.
Stick with us. We don't know what the hell we're doing, but David mentioned to me one of my favorite directors, and like it was going to be a question. Um, how about
I
They
should have
Live?
known.
John Carpenter. Yes, I am down for They Live. Roddy Piper, may rest in peace.
God bless.
Um, I remember liking this movie, so we will give you our views on it
And I
next week.
don't know that I've ever seen it. I maybe I did when I was younger and just was, when
Get
I was
ready for
younger
a
I was
message.
drunk. So me, my buddy Dave probably seen it. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I know of the movie,
Hmm.
and I even know of like the one scene where he's in the bank. I've come here to chew gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of chewing gum, or I'm
Yeah.
all out of bubble gum, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's that's like the big line from the movie.
Pretty much.
So I
Yes.
am so looking forward to this.
Yeah.
I want to see this movie all the way through.
I am
Roddy
too.
Piper, I always liked him when he played Roddy
Yeah.
Piper. I always
Yeah.
liked him as a wrestling guy, being the big bad villain.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's pretty cool. He's in a couple of movies, if I'm
Oh,
not mistaken.
absolutely. This will
But
be a fun one. And like I said, get ready for a message again.
message.
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard about the message, and I
Yeah.
want to see the message.
Yeah. But it's
Um,
cool. It's cool. This is what I remember. It's a really neat movie. So, and being a John Carpenter fan, we'll have to dig into more as the time goes by because
I'm all
Assault
for
on
that.
Precinct 13 is one I'd love to revisit.
Okay, cool. We can do that. We
So
should just have a John Carpenter month. We kind of did it by
we've
accident
already
one
done it a
time.
lot.
We did it by accident though.
But
This
we
was
did leave out Prince of Darkness, which has, I think, Egg Shin in it.
really
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's in that. We haven't watched The Fog, Assault on Precinct 13, Village of the Damned, um, and The Mouth of Madness is one of my favorites.
Never heard of Mouth of Madness.
It's a very H.P. Lovecraft style story. It is great with
Really?
Sam Neill. Yeah,
Oh, okay. That
very
works.
good.
Neil, the son of Satan. That's good.
Yeah.
Damien, Damien,
Yeah.
Damien.
So anyway,
Real quick before we close out, for everybody who's watching or anybody who comes by,
yes,
hit the like button, hit the subscribe. I'm going to start doing that from now on.
do it, please,
Because
because
other
I
people
forget.
do it, and I'm like, yeah, I always forget to do that. Now I just remembered it right before we got
And
on.
if you're listening to us on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, TuneIn, iHeart, leave us a review, a 5-star one, please.
Yes, hit it. If there's a thumbs up thing there, go ahead
Yeah.
and hit a thumbs up thing. 5
Please
stars.
do.
That's good.
Help us get heard if you like what you hear. And if you don't, well, then
Hit a 5 star anyway. I don't care
give
if
it
you like
anyway and just move on. Go find you something else you like. That's all good.
Lie.
Just
Lie
lie.
for us.
Yeah. We'll catch you next week, folks, with They Live.